Hi again. Now we have a Director of Corporate Affairs from PayPal India, Mr. Nath, and then he is responsible for driving strategies for e-commerce policies, public policies, and online payments in India. And then he takes care of various stakeholders at PayPal. He comes with the 2 decades of experience in IT sector, and specifically into the payment systems. We are honored to have Mr. Nath today, and he will give a lot of insights to us about how we can enable the growth and what are the opportunities for all of us sitting in India or in APEC, and how we can go beyond the borders. Thank you, Mr. Nath, for sparing time, and then we are looking forward for an insightful talk.
Thank you, Vatsal. It is indeed good morning, everyone in India, and good afternoon to our colleagues in APAC. It's a real privilege and honor to be here, sharing some thoughts and exchanging notes with this wonderful Magento ecosystem and community. Before I go in, I will just request that, you have to bear with me if there is action in the background at my home. We are used to a new world of work from home. It is a Thursday morning with a lot of action with kids and dog in the family. So if they move around, please bear with me. This is a new reality we live in. So thanks for that. Now, what I wanted to just share the next few minutes with all of you is, how we can all together deal with the pandemic, come out stronger, and really look at an opportunity around growing the businesses in terms of both digitization as well as accessing the global opportunity. So there are 3 areas that I will try to focus on and share my thoughts with you. The number 1 area that we should look at is the opportunity that is in front of us post this pandemic. As it is said by Winston Churchill, never waste a crisis. So what is that opportunity that we are talking about? Number 2 is, how can Magento and PayPal work together to help you, both the merchants who are digitizing and want to grow this opportunity, which is really international and global, and also the community which is helping these merchants with end-to-end solutions. So that is the second part that I want to dwell on. And as we go along, I will also share some learnings that we ourselves as a company and the community that we already shared serve in India. What were some of our learnings? So with that background, let me just move on to my slide number 2. What we are particularly focused as PayPal here is, first is the mission. We have been around for 20 years as a company, a very, very solid financial position and a balance sheet. But what is really motivating us day in, day out is that how do we make financial services accessible for all? How do we make trade accessible for all? So democratizing financial services and democratizing trade is what drives us day in, day out. We were once a startup, so we still inherit the startup kind of a DNA and a culture. We want to work with you as the ecosystem, work with our merchants to roll out solutions and expand their business and grow it. What we want to do is become the leading and the largest open and independent digital platforms. This is absolutely essential for us because there are 2 things that PayPal brings to the table. Number 1, we bring our payment offering end to end without competing with the ecosystem or with the merchant. Okay, we are not in the business of goods and services, producing them and making them available, nor selling them. All we do is, offer you a suite of payment products, access to our global consumers with bulletproof world-class risk and security built in. And we do that in partnership with our ecosystem. And the Magento partnership is a great example of it. With the Magento community of developers, solution provider, service provider, we partner and make everything available so that the merchants can grow. So with that background, what I wanted to just share with you is that when you as the ecosystem think about recommending PayPal as a payments partner, or when the merchant is considering PayPal as a payment partner for growing their business, what you get from us is a solid balance sheet, a proven track record of 20 years, cyber security DNA, which is our number one priority, and a partnership approach. So this is what we make it available, and we drive this mission of making financial services and trade for all become a reality. Now, taking this further, as MSMEs, when they want to scale their business, one is serving the domestic market. Okay, other is how do you access a global community. What we have here is a unique two-sided network, okay, of consumers, which are now in excess of 377 million active consumers, and a merchant community of 29 million users. This two-sided network gives you an access to 200 markets and to a set of very, very trusted PayPal community. So as an Indian business, if you're sitting in India and say that, okay, how do I grow my business cross-border? Here is a network that's available to you. And here is a proposition that's a joint proposition, saying that if you use PayPal, then what you get access is to this digital trust and the trust enjoyed by 377 million plus consumers. What is also exciting is many of these consumers use PayPal very actively. It's a part of their daily lives. Look at some of the stats that I've put out. It's like 40 payment transactions per active account. So how can you be a part of that spend by this consumer is something, that is kind of something to think about. What it also says about this two-sided network of consumers and merchants is that we are able to get data and insights about these users. And how do we put them to use? Okay, it is not for advertising. We use this data to provide analytics back to merchants of what the behavior of the consumers is, what their spend patterns are, and also to make it protect the users, both the consumers and the merchant, from fraud. That's all what we do. It is to make our service better and faster. So this is what the two-sided networks brings to the table. Now, let me just move on to the pandemic. Okay, I would say that we are in 2021, we are starting on a very positive note. Of course, the pandemic changed the way we live, changed the way we do business, every aspect of our life has got changed. But what it also has done is that digital payments, what was an important aspect, it was one of the ways to do business, it's now become an essential service. And what I mean by an essential service is the businesses have to accept digital payments because the consumer on the other side has decided that there is a structural change. He's not going to go back to cash. It will be a secondary or a third option, and only if electronic means are not available, then he may use cash. So a structural change in how we do business, a structural change in how consumers want to pay and get paid. Okay, so that is something to bear in mind. But at the same time, from an India perspective, okay, there are some very positives that we see early in 2021. Okay, the first one is, we got, if you see the last 2 months data around exports, they are on an upswing. That's number one. Number two, all of us saw the budget by the finance minister, post budget. It's a budget that is really to unlock the animal spirits in the economy. It is putting the focus back on the SMEs. It is increase the spending both by the government and the private sector. And that's the second positive that we are looking at. Exports, the budget is a very good start for us to push through. And we can all draw inspiration from our cricket team that in 2021, when nobody gave them a chance, okay, they came back from in a hopeless situation and actually won the series. So it talks a lot about the resilience the Indian economy has shown, the MSMEs and the small businesses have shown, and how we are able to recover. What we are also seeing is When digital payments have become essential, as an MSME, if you're looking at a global market, or a business of any size looking at a global market, we have also seen some very interesting trends. The first trend is on the PayPal network itself. We have seen an unprecedented number of new users. Okay, it is roughly about 170,000 new users who are adopting our platform. So what does it mean for a business in India? Is that there is, access to such a fast growing consumer base, and to sell your goods and services. The other insight that we have is that as these 170,000 new users are coming on every day on our platform, within that we have new segment of users coming, what we call as silver tech shoppers. These are groups that never transacted digitally, age group of typically 50 to 75. Okay, and now they are coming onto the digital platform. They also want to buy goods and services, not just from their domestic market, but also across the world. So again, an opportunity for an Indian small business or business of any size to really look at, not only tap to this larger set of users coming in onto the digital platform, but also to this new segment of users. Now, the other aspect which I've been dwelling on during this discussion, as you may see, is the MSME. Absolutely a pillar of Indian economy, contributing to 130 million jobs, 45% of the manufacturing, almost 40% of the Indian exports. Okay, definitely they were impacted during the pandemic, but what we saw was a resilience and a quick recovery, especially when we from April to kind of December, we saw almost a record number of new Indian small businesses coming online wanting to export. We saw roughly a 25 to 30% increase in our export volume. Okay, so it was quite amazing to see that how the MSME is resourceful, very adapting, and how do they want to turn the crisis into an opportunity. I must also say that the government's timely interventions in the form of whether it is credit schemes, and all the earlier work that was done by the industry and the government to make it very easy for small value exports, goods and services exports of small value, the changes that were made in the foreign trade policy, or in the customs procedures, or the payment regulations that the RBI put together. All of it kind of helped the small SME to really start accessing the global market across and to try and access these millions of consumers on the PayPal network. So it was a fascinating transition that we see. At the same time, some challenges remain, but what we are seeing is green shoots and a very fast paced recovery from this side. And what we are looking at is working with all of you in the Magento ecosystem, working as PayPal. What could we do more to accelerate this in a manner which is a win-win for everyone? Now, this is what I was talking about. The cross-border opportunity could be the real silver bullet here and give that leg up to the Indian economy's recovery, and also the MSME being at the center who can access this global market. Let me just step back and tell you what are we talking about. We are talking about Indian businesses in India who are now able to access 200 markets, sell their goods and services to 377 million plus users. What does it translate to the small businesses? Simple. Okay, they are able to sell directly to a global consumer. It fetches better realization for their products. PayPal ensures that this money that the sales that they do, the money comes into their bank account almost the next day, which means it helps their cash flow. They are also able to showcase their brand directly to global consumers. Okay, and able to really grow their businesses, not just serving domestic, but now very profitable export business. And the good part about this business is that the government is very supportive. All the taxes like GST that you would have paid as an exporter during the course of these exports is eligible for refund. The government is also coming out with schemes to say that if you sell these products to certain markets and to certain corridors of certain category of products, you're also eligible for incentives by the government program. So essentially what we are telling an MSME is that look at the cross-border opportunity, become an exporter. Okay. And not only that you grow your business profitably, but you can also actually help contribute to the economic recovery of India. And and this is where I think we cannot do it alone as PayPal. We need the Magento ecosystem to work with us, provide the end-to-end solutions that the merchants require as they grow their business digital and into the export world. And we have to do all this with one underlying theme, and on which we cannot compromise. This unprecedented digitization, if there is one party pooper, if I may use that term, is that the confidence of the small business or the consumer will be affected if they start seeing fraud and risk to the system. It will affect their confidence and they will not transact as we would like them to. So it's the absolute number one priority for PayPal and for this ecosystem to make sure that we protect these users from risk and fraud, which we have been doing for last 2 decades. But as an ecosystem, we need to do more and see how best we can minimize risk and fraud in the system. And to sum up this brief address from my side, what we kind of together bring to the table is an absolutely collaborative and partnership approach. Magento, along with PayPal, brings global scale, a global e-commerce platform and a payment platform to make sure that you are able to access this global opportunity. Number two, we can look at your journey and look at how can we create transformational experiences together and make sure that you can make the most of this potential, both as the community of service providers, developers, and also as merchants. Both are community oriented. The systems are open, the APIs are available, the documentation is available. So as developers, as system providers, when you want to offer it, all this is available for you to bring the best solutions to your merchants. And lastly, both of us are looking at performance driven services and products. We back it up with data. Our focus is that how do you help sales and conversions on your platform as a merchant if you use Magento and PayPal. Ultimate test is that is the business growing by using these platforms? Am I able to access new markets and new customers? Okay, is it a reliable, secure platform? And this is what we as a community bring to the table. We cannot do it ourselves alone, but jointly, I think 1 + 1 is not 2, but it is 11. So PayPal and the Magento ecosystem, we can work together. There is this new export economy that we can all jointly build. And with that, I'll end my remarks. Vatsal, I'll hand it back to you for your next session, or if there is any Q&A. Thanks a lot, everyone, for your patient listening.
Thanks a lot, sir. It was very insightful session. And then I think whole India has learned how to grow global. And it's PayPal is certainly helping us grow globally. And yeah, we all are fan of PayPal. Thank you for your remarks. And then guys, we have, I think, short break till 10:30, and see you back with the different tracks. Now my other colleagues will take on different tracks like business, PWA, technology, and solution. I'll be there in a business track. See you there. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Vatsal. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.